To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Well, here we are. It's that time. Last podcast until I move. Let me take these off. So, I had all these notes and thoughts that I wanted to just put across to you because if you followed me on my journey, like through whether it's the beginning of the podcast or you maybe saw a couple of my videos that I did, or if you're following along on the YouTube channels, or I don't know, whatever path you're on, it's like, you figured I'm moving, I'm going to where I want to be with who I want to be with and the situation I want to be a part of and all this other stuff. And it's like, on the surface, it's like, hey, it's great. This is your dream. This is everything you wanted. You should be excited, right? I'm not really excited. I'm nervous. I'm terrified. I'm scared shitless. You can plan for every situation you can plan for something, and ultimately the way my life has gone, and this is not a reflection of anything, it's just where I am right now. It's like, okay, I'm a few days away from doing this and packing up this and going there and doing that, and it's like, but I've been through this before. I've been this close to some things, and it's fallen apart every time. So what makes this time so different? I was so sure then. Am I sure now? Well, maybe I should be. Maybe I'm so clouded by the fact that I've had so many failures in my life that I can't see beyond that. So you guys know that I'm moving to the seacoast. I've spent essentially 10 years crafting the idea, about the last 5 years putting some type of concept together, and then the last few years really, I guess, paying down my debts and everything so that I could make some type of life happen there. The pandemic helped, but it also maybe hurt, because it gave me the opportunity to explore my options as far as moving down there. It gave me a window, a very small window, very small, and I'm taking full advantage of it. But I feel like this isn't like, I don't feel like I'm staring at the next phase of my life. I feel like I'm staring at like an event horizon. The event horizon is basically just before you enter the black hole. And as somebody exploring the next phase of their life, am I going to be of any value? These are questions that you think, like, I'm the only one who thinks these things. This is everybody's thoughts in mind. Everybody's thoughts, their thought patterns, their fears, their hopes. Are you of any value? Do you serve any purpose? Yeah, you're going to get to this next phase of your life, and you're maybe going to get that great job, or you're going to meet that great person, or you're going to get that great opportunity, or move to that new place, or you're going to be debt-free, or you're going to make all this money. Then what? Do you have any value after that? Do you serve any purpose beyond that? Like, I feel like everything that I do a lot. At least in my eyes, I do. I have the ability to do so many things. But do these things have any value in this society right now? And if they don't, do I have any value in this society right now? With family, friends, loved ones? Do I? Does it matter at all? There's no script for this. It's just thoughts from the notebook that I would share before probably one of the biggest commitments of my life. And I do. I feel a lot of nerves, but I don't feel as much value and as much up-to-date and efficiency as a person or as an entity or as an asset as I would hope to. I feel obsolete. I feel like the world has, even though I can do so many things by myself, I feel like the world doesn't care. Like, I mean, I can be, no matter how good I am, it maybe doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I can make my own coffee. So what? Everybody's got a cappuccino machine nowadays or a Keurig. You know, I work out a lot. I'm in great shape. In the wintertime, I look like a boxer from the 1920s. And in the winter, in the summertime, I'm your normal J. Crew model. Still can get replaced at a moment's notice by some plumber who's jacked up on TRT. So where does that leave me? You know, I cook really well. I can cook all kinds of things. I'm a great asset in the kitchen. Guy Fieri comes along, I'm fucked. You know, I know I'm a great little mom and pop little takeout diner, but freaking Flavortown shows up, I'm screwed. And I look back at these last 10 years of forming this idea in my head that I want to do something more than just latch on to somebody else's project like Top Feuds, which basically went nowhere. And I look back at these failures, like the first podcast. That was back in 2014. We were 25 episodes deep. And then my life got swept from under me. I got thrown out of my home for another guy. And then after that, the podcast vibe changed and I couldn't write anymore because my mindset wasn't clear. I didn't have a place to live. So that failed and it died by the wayside. Imagine if I would have continued the podcast and just kept the motivation going back in 2014, how many episodes I'd have by now. Instead, I'm a few hundred in, not even, doing this by myself, which is fine, but I would have loved to have done it by myself with 500 of these things. I could have crafted this so much better. I was on the verge of becoming a golf amateur. That would have been taking me to so many different places. It would have been such an interesting life adventure. That died. That fun shriveled up. But this is the thing is I never believe that things are going to work out. I talked about this 6 months ago. I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't want it to. I don't like talking about things like vacation or good things that are going to happen in my life because I always believe that they're going to fall through. And I go out of my way every day to prove myself wrong. This isn't going to work out. That's going to fail. Every morning, every night. And I spend the whole day trying to prove that theory wrong. So instead of staring at the next phase of my life, I feel like I'm staring into an event horizon. I'm diving in with this feeling that I'm not going to come out the other side with the dreams that I aimed for in the power of my hand. You know, I'm finishing this podcast at the Spare Parts studio here. And granted, I was away from it for like maybe a week in January, but I was right back at it. I attacked it. I got on it. I got my vibe back. But this is different. I got to build a whole new thing. And being away from this, not shooting any content or not being creative, the thing that makes me me, being away from it for that long, at least in my initial mindset, feels like a death sentence. Like, from the moment I stop recording, that's going to be it. Because I don't know, maybe something's going to happen and I'm going to wake up in the back seat of my Lincoln tomorrow. Why would that happen? That's crazy talk. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is one day I woke up in the back seat of my Saab. These are things that go through your head. The trauma that is in your life. I know people have it worse. Right now, in the future. But these are the things that I'm letting you know now that I don't know if these feelings are normal, but these are the feelings and the worries I'm experiencing from past failures. I should have this many episodes. I should have this much content. I should be having this many of this and that and the other thing. And I should be confident in my next moves. I'm not. I've been a train wreck since day one. I look back at all my footage and all my other original content. I fucking hate it. I look back at all my written articles. I wish I could have done more, and I wish I could have done better. I'm not here to put on a front. I'm not here to put on a front. I'm here to produce content in a way that doesn't fit the narrative, doesn't fit the algorithm, and it may make you uncomfortable to hear what I have to say. But it takes so much energy to produce this hour. And it was a huge task tacking on an extra episode a week. It takes so much out of me to produce this content. Whether it's the audio or the video stuff that I do for people, it takes a lot out of you. That takes a piece of you. That's like going into the octagon. I feel like I'm getting kneed in the face for 5 rounds. It's exhausting. And I'm never the same after every single time, after every single video. And I'm at that point of severe uncertainty where I mean, all the oxygen I require, all the energy I require, is there going to be anything left down by the ocean in the life that I've supposedly chosen for me to survive? And I did not start this website, this company, this podcast. I didn't start it with the intention of having so much of my personal viewpoint to be the focal point of it. It was supposed to be for other people. It was supposed to be for other people's projects and voices and opinions. And because there were so many gaps in content being produced, I felt like I owed it to everybody to tell my side of the story, or at least what I could remember. And when you tell your story that to you at least is super traumatic, the story never really is in its full truthful context, because it's only your point of view from the trauma that you can remember, and the only way that you can describe it and understand it. And because of that, this whole life's project shifted to this thing where it is all me now. And I do all these things, but it's like, And I try to do as much as possible. I get up as early as I can to make life great for others and make life doable for myself. But I really don't feel like I deserve this. Because if it keeps happening, then that thought is more justified. Like I don't feel like what I owned, what I acquired, living where I lived for the past 5 years, I didn't feel like I deserved it. I feel like I worked hard enough to acquire it and just be there, but I feel like somebody else was more deserving of that space and that lifestyle. Not me. But it gave me time to make up for it gave me the opportunity to make up for lost time, for all the aspects of the website. It gave me a chance to be in my own element and make up for the lost time, produce new content for all different sections of the site. And that was good. But it was hard to start again. And I feel like this time around it might be impossible. And I'll have to wake up tomorrow, like every day, every other day, to prove myself wrong. Like I'm not heading for the event horizon. That's eventually going to suck me in and take everything I own, everything that I worked for, and just reduce it to nothing. Just crush it under the weight of my own uncertainties. But like I said, I should have thousands of these fucking podcasts. I should have like hundreds of written pieces. You know, more video. I should have done more. I wish I could have done more. But, you know, fighting with your own uncertainties against your own distractions has led me to this point where it's like, I'm about to turn off this microphone, pack up all this stuff, and it's going to go somewhere. And is it going to work out? I don't know. I was never really in a position at an early stage of my life to be on my own in such a way where I had to grind. There were times in my life where, in my late 20s, where I was just completely without hope. I feel like tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be back on Douglas Street. And I'm not going to have any money. There's not going to be any prospects. And that's it. I'm just stuck there. I'm not excited. I'm super nervous. And it's going to take a lot of energy to just stay focused, pack up boxes, make sure everything's taken care of, sign off on all the T's and I's, get there, unpack, unwind, and reset up. And then see if I can do this again. And being away from people, because I feel the divisiveness, over this year. I don't know what to expect from people. I hear the vitriol. I hear that. I see the anger. I see the it's like Friday. Every day is like Friday afternoon in heavy traffic, and everybody's just itching to get ahead, and they don't care who they run over. And I might be the person they run over. And I just want to get away from it all. But let me rephrase that. I want to be in a position where I'm away from it all and approach it on my own terms. I don't want to have to live. I've come to this point because I don't want to have to live in a town where I have meth heads sitting on my front lawn. Or if lockdowns are going to affect my area, or if somebody's going to steal my car, which they haven't. But I'm just nervous about all of it. And I bring it up because the voices inside my head at this point are yelling. They're yelling. They're saying, this doesn't feel right. Address it. And maybe it's nothing. Because we all do this. We all get scared. We all get nervous. We all get, not cold feet, but we all just get to this point where it's like your mind starts to play tricks on you. I don't care if what I said last week's podcast or the week before that or something I wrote, I don't care if it upsets people. My point is to wake you up to some of the things that I'm talking about. To the fact that your mind is not something that can just be put down on paper in perfection. When you write shit down on a notebook, it's just a mess of shit from your brain. It's not necessarily, you're just taking a puzzle piece from your mind and putting it on a piece of paper. And it may not be to the same goddamn puzzle. But I say these things today, especially because this is what's on my mind. It didn't make any sense to talk about other people's problems on Q&A. It didn't make sense to talk about articles that I don't care about right now. I'm not in that frame of mind. Because I'm moving to a next phase of my life. Am I going to get there in one piece? That's the phrase that's going through my head. And am I going to get T-boned on my way to the next phase of my life? I don't know how to compare it. Am I heading towards I have these metaphors for how my life's going to possibly go. Am I just flying right into an event horizon, or am I heading towards sanctuary, and I'm going to get T-boned on the way there by what I don't know? Or am I just going to wake up tomorrow and realize I'm still breathing? I got a new studio. Weddings are back, so I can start filming them. I'm shooting content. I'm in a healthy relationship. The lab is up and running, and I'm making yummy stuff for people. But that's the problem with a black hole, is you can't see through it. So, I don't know. It's exhausting asking all these questions. Asking myself all these questions. But I'm not doing this alone. At least not this time. I'm concerned if I have to ever do this alone again, then that's it. I have spent a lot of my time giving to other people, being helpful to other people. I've spent a lot of time giving discounts to certain clients. saving up for certain adventures and certain things with previous loved ones. And it's all been wasted. It's all been wasted. All that time, all that energy, and all that money, and all for naught. It makes me very hesitant, or did make me very hesitant, to put myself in this position that I'm in again. There was a podcast recently on JRE where Francissinghano, he's a mixed martial arts fighter, he's a heavyweight, big guy. He was coming from Cameroon all the way up to North Africa, and his objective was to get across from North Africa into Europe. So he had to cross the Mediterranean Sea. And I'm sure you can imagine all the obstacles that would be in his way. Border patrol, pirates, police. Well, he didn't make it the first time. He didn't make it the second time. It took him 7 attempts of being dumped in the desert after making it to the Mediterranean. He had to go all the way back to the desert. And finally, on the 7th attempt, he made it to England. Or he made it to Europe. That's perseverance. And that's not something I can relate to in any way. But even when he got there, his journey had just begun. So what's next for me? I hope the best. I hope it all works out. I hope I wake up one day and this was all a distant memory. At least the fears, the doubts, the black hole theory. Because I wake up every day trying to prove these fears wrong. And I know I'm not perfect, and I know that these things are just a part of my brain playing tricks on me from all the shit that I put myself through. But they're there. You have to address them to see if there's any validity. It's the only way my brain's going to process all this is if I confront it and go through the evidence, if there is any, and see if it's ultimately just fear. I hope that I see you all in a month or so. I hope that everything works out and that this was just my insecurities from all these years catching up to me to this one pivotal moment of crossing the finish line of a dream that I've been working on for the last 10 years. And that I've been sidelined by from so many disappointing moments in that timeline. So, thank you to those who have been clients, those who have been friends, those who have supported the channel, the site, those who are new to this. Understand that you have a responsibility to yourself and only yourself from the very beginning. Do not be codependent. Do not be afraid to start. Build it all yourself. Don't take the path that I did. Mine, I think, will ultimately work out. But I warn you, there are risks involved and bringing other people in to support your dreams. Because you got to choose the right ones. I'm not saying anything leading. I'm just stating that I have surrounded myself with only the people in my life that I truly want to be with. And I hope that I have made finally the right decisions and I've made the right choices. So maybe I can wake up a month from now and say, I do deserve this. I earned it. Now let's get to work. But 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, it was all me. There was nobody else. There was very little to no support of the whole project. I had to do it myself. And I didn't have any money to do it. So I suggest for you, in the very beginning, do it all yourself. That's it. I'll see you in a month.